professional like. Let me just bring up our repo here. Okay, we're back after, what is it, Thursday? I was supposed to travel today, but I didn't travel. My stepdaughter's doing some theater thing on Saturday. So excited to see that. Excited it's Thursday.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. All right, so we had a pretty good day on Tuesday. We got encryption working 100% now by doing chunks of encryption.
Yep.
I don't know what people actually do in these situations unless there's other algorithms that don't particularly care how long it is. I don't know anything about the math, dude, but I think our solution is fine. And then we did a little bit of UI cleanup since AI can auto-magically respond to anybody regardless of what user we're on. So let's go to our notes here for a second. Let's bring up the dude. Why is there a PR here? Oh, we've had a PR out here for a while from to add SQL DB. That's right, but we're not going to do any of that right now.
Got it. Okay.
That's what open source, man. It's a management issue once you do something like that. I keep all my repos pretty clean, but big projects, it's like impossible. My OCD wouldn't let me handle it. All right, so hopefully everybody can hear us pretty good. Nobody's complaining. Our data star stuff is a tiny bit broken now because we didn't know how to code that stuff in the temple. Man,
yeah,
that was crazy. It was producing HTML, so nested for loops or something, and it's okay. I'm just going to stay on the Go side anyway. But when we did the encryption, actually, one thing I wanted to double check. I was thinking about it. I don't do anything. Pretty much, I don't do anything off air, so things pop in my head. And one thing I was thinking about was when we did all the encryption stuff, we did it in the client package, right?
Yeah,
so it wasn't in the
pre-process.
Yeah, none of that was in the UI package.
No.
Right? Oh yeah, here. Yeah. Because the more we put when we put stuff in the client package, that means all UIs will take advantage of it. If we put it in the UI, then it's a one-off for that particular UI, right?
Yeah.
So our console app had the fix for the AI stuff, but Datastar wouldn't necessarily get that fix, right?
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the other thing I was thinking about too is we integrated
It was Mohammed's PR for the SQL support.
Yeah. We're going to get back to that, dude. I wonder if it's still mergeable with all the changes we made, though I think I saw him make a change to it. So here's something also interesting, right? We integrated the AI or the agent response at the UI level, not in the client level. So that means that if we wanted to do this with Datastar, we'd have to copy and paste this code in and around. Now, at the same time, I think we did it because we had state that we had to maintain at this level to sort of make that work. Because at the client level, we don't really maintain state. We store stuff. And so this is like the thing, like if we put stuff in the client package under foundation, we're setting some very strong policy that this happens for all UIs, which is nice because UIs don't have to worry about it, like encryption. If we put stuff at the UI level like this, then we're saying that this UI has that support, but another UI doesn't. And I was just kind of going back in my brain a little bit and asking myself at some point, and I don't want to make these changes today, but can we, right? A question, let's say this was going to be production oriented stuff. I mean, we're writing everything as it is, but can this be integrated into the client as such that anybody gets it? And just looking at this alone, I'm thinking that's why we put it here, right? Because the idea of being in agent mode, well, I mean, we could pass the idea of agent mode into the client package. But, yeah, I don't know if it's possible to move this stuff into the client side. as opposed to having it out here based on sort of what we did, right? The client stuff was more lower level protocol stuff as opposed to interactions. So I feel okay that it's here, though it would be nice potentially if you could move it, because then anybody could be in agent mode, right? Like Datastar could be in agent mode as well. But remember, even with Datastar, there's all that data coming in and requests. I don't know how you could ever put it in the client. Now, that being said, like agent response stuff, well, here's the API really, right? So we could argue that, and that was just, agent was just LLM stuff, wasn't it? Yeah. So I think what we did was probably fine for this UI. And normally you're not building multiple UIs anyway. If this stuff was JavaScript, though, I don't know how much of this would be in the JavaScript. Like if we were going to do a full JavaScript client, we would need to extend at the cap level set of web APIs for the client to interact with, as opposed to right now we're leveraging APIs here. So some of that might move. Okay. I'm just always sort of debating after I get something working and you're out of the box for a little bit. You're like, did I put that in the right place? Even yesterday with Florin, we fixed some stuff and he started questioning why I didn't do things in a certain place. And I actually didn't mind him questioning the decisions I made, because it made me reevaluate everything that I did. And then just by reevaluating it and explaining it to him, we both agreed it was the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
We were both not necessarily happy that we couldn't have a tiny bit more consistency, but it was what it was, right? And so I don't ever get upset when somebody's questioning a decision, because it just means that you have to reevaluate. I mean, yesterday I put some code in and Florin reviewed it. He was like, Bill, you're not checking. I was doing some slicing. And he's like, dude, what if the slice is less than that number? And I went, oh, yeah, that's right, dude. We're going to panic. So even I yesterday was missing out on bounds checking. And I was like, oh, my God. I just wanted to get this thing done so fast. I forgot that we're like hard coding lengths, assumable lengths on an image, right? We were trying to check to see if the image was a JPEG or PNG. We only need 64 bytes of the image to do that. But what if somebody passed me 40 bytes?
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to look at 60. Boom! Panic. Right? That's what I'm saying. Panic. But Florin caught that. I didn't catch it. That code would have gotten in production. All the tests passed because I didn't have any test specific to images that are, say, invalid.
You can't trust the user to do the same.
And this is why I tell people all the time, your tests are important and you need them. And the easier we find ways to write tests, and we've done no tests here, which is bad. For me, this is legacy code already because there's no tests. But if you're completely leaning heavy on your tests, you're going to fail, because I don't have a test for a small image.
You don't have every case.
You never will. And normally you're going to have the cases, you're going to have basic happy path. And then a lot of your negative path could be basic negative path, like auth and stuff. But until something blows up, you tend not to have those cases, like the bounce check for a small image, right? I should go in, and I didn't, right? But I should go in now and add a test related to, in fact, all the code changes I made yesterday, I didn't add any particular tests for it, which is bad. I'm going to do that today. And so if you're not being disciplined to, okay, I just made some feature functionality change. Let's make sure we've got tests for that. Hey, you didn't do bounce checking. Oh yeah, you're right. Because even though you wrote bounce check code, maybe it's not working.
Yeah.
Right? Because you won't know until you get to the test. So
very true.
There were other things I wanted to do today, but now having this conversation, I feel bad that I didn't throw some more tests. Tests are a pain in the ass, dude. I grew up in an environment where like we didn't write tests because the concept of that didn't even exist. In fact, I didn't even see it until the early 2000s in C#, and I still wasn't doing it because my brain said at the time, I don't have time to write. I got to get this stuff out. You're asking me to do more development that isn't going to get this. Now when I look back at how like ignorant I was about that, right?
So before it was just like coding, and then
It's like what we're doing here. We're coding it, we're running it locally,
and you're testing it like live.
we'd have we'd have QA environments that were full fledged. Remember, we had data centers instead of the cloud, but we'd have QA teams whose job it was to break it. On Fridays, I would tell my team, or I'd go into the QA department and I'd say, if you can find me 3 legitimate bugs, you can go home early today. And you know what? They didn't find a bug all week, but within about 2 hours,
they found it.
Before noon, they'd find like 3 legitimate bugs. And I'd say, thank you, go home. You know? And I would do that a lot, especially before release, because we didn't. So we would call that sort of integration testing, right? And we did a lot of that back in the day. We didn't have these sort of unit tests.
Got it. Okay.
I didn't even start writing tests until I got to Go. And now the thought of anything real in production that doesn't have some, and I'm not writing the test. I'll be honest with you. For me, the tests aren't for me, and they're for the code base per se, but it's not for me. They're for you.
Yeah.
They're for the person I don't know right now, who's going to have to come in and take this code base over and have to be able to run it and have to be able to know they didn't break anything.
Yeah.
That's, from my perspective, that's who you're writing tests for. It's not for you. You have a mental model of this code right now. You have a general idea what's going to break. Though once the code base gets above 10,000 lines of code, it's going to be hard for you to have it all in your head. But
and I experienced that with the exam code that I just did with the revoking, where I used the tests before putting it and testing it.
Yeah, but did you write any
fascinating.
new tests for when you added the revoke stuff? No.
And
so that's the failure now, right? Just like I told you on the other project, I just added a bunch of stuff to do image detection, because when we were sending an image that wasn't a JPEG or a PNG to the model server, it was freaking crashing, bro. It was like, we're like, what's going on, man? Why is it crashing? We have to stop it from crashing. So we need to detect before we make a model request whether we have a JPEG or a PNG. Okay. So I just added that code there. But like I said, I don't have any tests for that.
Yeah.
And so that's code that if somebody touches and they run the tests and they think there's test coverage for that, there isn't. And now they break something in production. So I don't want you writing tests for you. I want you to write tests for the person you don't know about. Because the moment they can't maintain this code base anymore, they're throwing it away. Like I can promise you that's going to happen.
They're throwing it away and rewriting.
No, we haven't written any sort of tests for any of this. And maybe we end up having a show where we go back at a package level and start thinking about how we're going to write tests. Some of the code we're writing here is going to be difficult to write tests for. And the answer isn't throw interfaces all over the place. So maybe what we do is some unit tests for sure, and then maybe some integration tests. Okay, so at some point come back in and say, okay, we know this system's working, but really if we're going to put it in production, we got to make sure that not only I'm not breaking it, but Mohammed breaks things all the time. You can see that. So poor Mohammed. Mohammed fixes more things than he breaks, I'll tell you that much. But we need that stuff there. It has to be there. So switch over to that other screen, dude, because you get those chats. Oh, see? I didn't see him laughing yet, but it's over there. So, we should have Mohammed on the show one day. Get him on here to help us code something, since he's been
with us the whole way.
No, I know. We should get him on the show. Maybe when we start doing some of this stuff here, we'll get him on the show to help. Always 3 heads are better than 2. Yeah, that would be cool. Mohammed, you got to send me an email, man. bill@ardanlabs.com. Get you on the show. I think it will be fun. But you got to have, I don't know where you're living, so we're just going to make sure we got internet that's sort of solid at that time. Okay, so we've got this sort of stuff we laid out here. Turning the agent mode on and off, I definitely would like to do that. I live in NL. Where's NL? N. I feel I've been all over the world and I don't know what NL stands for.
Um,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll think about it. If it was,
Netherlands.
oh,
Okay.
the Netherlands.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, your internet should be fine in the Netherlands. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're in the States, so that's yeah. If you had NZ, I would have seen New Zealand. I would have been like, whoa. Okay, so I want to add the AI turning on and off because that way I could go if I have to go somewhere, I can turn it on and come back and turn it off. I think that'd be worth sort of coding again, just in our TUI.
Yep.
I think we should create a little algorithm that does a simulated delay based on maybe a random sort of time where there's a min and a max, and then calculate that against how long
the message is.
how long it took for the LLM to respond.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if we want to make, I don't know, maybe we should Google like what is the average time it takes a person to sort of respond, right? Like so like yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that can be all over the place.
I don't know. What is the sort of average time person responds to I don't know, text message? I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
90 seconds.
Now, see, now when I said 90 seconds is too long.
Oh, but it's thinking response time.
Yeah, this is thinking like kids, right?
Not so, like typing.
What's your time? Okay, so what is the average time it takes a person to type a short message? Less than 30 seconds. Okay. So half of, say they spend less than 30 seconds writing a message. The younger you get, the longer it takes because you get distracted, right? Okay, so I like this, right? 0 to 10 seconds. And I would do maybe 3 to 10 seconds. So what I would say is we choose a number, a random number from 3 to 10, right? And that's going to be our sort of delay. And then we make the LLM call. So let's say the number was 8 seconds. We make the LLM call and it comes back in 3. So we just got to wait another 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like it can be like this simple, right? And so it's not consistent because that would mean it's a robot. So we got to choose a number. And we could do 0 to 10, right? I don't like 0. That feels too fast.
Yeah.
Because now the only delay is maybe a half a second of time. So I'd say like 3 to 10 seconds. And we can sort of subtract that and we can see how that feels and then we can sort of tweak it. But that's interesting, right? That, I mean, obviously somebody did that. But the younger you are, that 90 seconds, I've sat here in the house with the 17-year-old sitting on the couch and I've sent her a text and she doesn't know I'm here. And I've seen her look at it. And then, I didn't switch over to our, I've been on, I've been on.
Yeah, we've been on.
All right, I got confused there. Anyway, I've seen her look at the text, ignore it, do anything else, and then like 90 seconds later, go back to it.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah, and I'm looking at her like, I think I did that to her on her plane one time too. And I'm looking at her like, really? At some point, I'm like, really? And she turned around. I'm like, I'm glad I'm your priority right now. Or even worse, I'll be in an active text with her, 2 or 3 messages, and then that happens.
And then boop, yeah.
Gee, I'm like, I don't understand. So we're going to do some of that. And then once we have that in place, this gets sort of interesting today, that we can turn both of our agent modes on.
Yes, I really want to see how that goes.
I know, but I think that can only work if it's like you send a question, I send a response with a question, you send a response with a question, you send a response with a question. Because if there isn't a question, there's no reason to respond, right? Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not.
When you have a conversation with somebody,
but we can maybe prompt it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need some sort of. Well, we have a prompt already.
We can prompt it and maybe have it make a decision based on the message it read before.
I know, it's too bad I can't get the LLM to create a profile about you. Maybe we can create a profile about a computer science student from
Yeah.
FIU or something,
Mm-hmm.
right? And have something like that. Well,
I could
when
do
we
that.
get to that, we'll get to it. So we'll try it with that prompt without the question and just see what sort of happens. Maybe you change the prompt to say be inquisitive.
Yeah, or like try to keep the conversation going as long as possible.
Something like that.
Like, and just let it
I
make its
wonder if it
own
understands
decision.
that instruction, because you got to train the models also for instruction, right? You're not just you train the model to pick the next word. It's right with all the
Yeah.
parameters,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also a whole training session that goes on, teaching it how to respond or take instruction. So
Okay.
sometimes what happens is you sort of unlock a hack code that you start to see almost how this model was trained to take instruction based on the words you're using.
Yeah.
Where it's like, use this word, don't use that word, because it was kind of trained in on these words and these phrases, and right.
Yeah.
But then a whole nother model was sort of trained to take instruction differently.
Got it. Okay.
And so the frustrating thing is, like, nobody publishes a document that kind of shares with you. Like, people have tried to hack this information out and share it. But I just wish the people that develop the models would produce a doc that said, this is how we trained the model to take instruction. So ask it this way with these words and in these phrases.
Save a lot of time.
And dude, save a lot of time, right? So I can say and be inquisitive, but it may not really know what that word inquisitive means because it wasn't trained to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why these things are sort of magical when you figure out how they were trained, on what content, on what words, on what language.
It's almost finding the right words
to
use.
Yeah. And anytime I ask, like, properly trained and educated machine learning people, like at Prediction Guard, they basically give me like the answers that I already know, right? Which is, you could try these phrases here for this model and these phrases here, but they had to go through the same pain. Like I'm going
regardless, you're going through
it's
the pain
all
of trying
art.
it.
Like, at some point, it's all art, not science, right?
Got it.
Okay, so we'll play with these three things today, and then what is my calendar next week? I don't have my phone with me, so I can't see. But here's my phone. I just want to double check something. This show is truly live, isn't it? Just the way I treat all my classes too. But I just want to look at my calendar for next week. Oh no, I'm in San Francisco next week for Google I/O. So we're not gonna have any shows next week.
Okay.
And then the week after that, man, we got 2 podcasts and that. Okay, so then next week I'm in San Francisco at Google I/O. So then the May 27th and 29th, we'll hopefully start the cap to cap stuff, and we'll try to get Mohammed on that week, which gives us a couple of weeks to sort of schedule that. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so let's work on turning UI on and off. So let's get our system up and running now. So I'm gonna split the screen here, and I've been splitting the screen here. Man, once I memorized the keystroke for splitting the screen, like, my life got like so much better.
What is it?
It's Command Shift D for the horizontal and Command D for the vertical. D, I don't know why D, but
that is so much better.
Yeah,
I've been doing it with the
no, dude. Right, how many times do I keep telling you?
I know.
Not run LLM, that you got to get your hands off the mouse.
Yeah.
You got to fight it, man. You got to go through the pain of saying, today I'm not touching the mouse for anything. And if I have to, then, because I have to look something up, fine, but I'm not doing it again. Even if you have to write it down on a piece of paper at some point. And you're going to slow down for about 2 weeks, and then you're going to go. All right. Yeah. So I've got that running. I need to get I have so many projects where I kind of change this. Yeah, of course not. Sometimes I get really lazy, and I just do this. Grep. See? No mouse. How cool is that? Olama up. Grep is your friend. It takes any output and filters it based on.
Oh, okay.
So it took the entire cat makefile, was dump it to the terminal, pipe that as input into grep, so it reads it as standard in, and then I said filter any line that just has a llama in it.
Got it. Okay.
And I didn't have to touch the
No
mouse now, did I?
I would have been going back into the makefile of the project.
That's right. But and I am really bad on the terminal. You find a guy like Florin or something. It's insane. I don't like customizing things too much though, because if I have to get on another machine, then I'm lost. There are people that like compete for like what's the minimum number of keystrokes they need to perform an action, right? These are like real DevOps, SRE sort of types. That's not me. So what do I have now? I've got a cap. I've got the Olama running. I don't need the Docker stuff running because we're not running the other stuff. And then it's the TUI, right? Caesar.
Yeah.
Oh, so Daniel's like Caesar's like that on the terminal.
Oh, really?
As it is, I have my aliases, right? For some. So look, so I can do this again, right? Cat makefile grep TUI make run. Pretty cool, right?
I'm gonna start using that. That's really good.
Okay, so that was the Delaney. This was the Kevin. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up because where are we gonna put our little checkbox to turn? You want to do it down here?
I'm thinking in the bottom of the contacts list.
So have like switches here.
Yep.
Instead of switches, maybe over there.
Yeah.
Next to the submit button. I feel like it's far away here. Like eventually if you have a long list, I like this, but like this box is really long.
Yeah, we could. It just leaves you less room to see. Like we're on a big screen now, but on like a Mac. Like I think having submit and agent mode together is kind of like usually submit is always by itself or send is always by itself.
All right. So we'll put it down there. So we got to figure out how to change the layout now.
Yeah, how to get in there.
I got to add a new, and I have to look to see if they've got checkboxes and stuff again, right? So we're back to like, back to like looking at the T-view stuff here. So let me see something here.
They do tview.new checkbox.
New checkboxes. Okay, so let's start with the user stuff. So the users is this list, right?
Yep. Down
here is where we sort of flex everything. You can see the list came, and then we added this whole thing here, a new flex, and then we did it at a row level, and then I added the to T-view, and then I added another flex with the flex column to do the text area and the button, right?
Okay.
With and then setting percentages. So now what you're saying to me is that we need to set a stuff is hard for me. I need like a text view here, which is also a row level. Where we had a list. Let's just end that here. And then, oh man. Then I've got to end it with maybe this. I don't remember. Let me see. Flex sets direction, adds an item, comma 0001. So that ends this. Yeah, It ends that item here. And I need maybe a comma. Okay.
Why is add item?
Because I probably need.
Oh, because you did a new flex. No.
A dot, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, this API is a nightmare. This is not a Go API. This is an object-oriented ... API. These APIs drive me crazy. Given if they pass it out so they can do this stuff, and I want to shoot myself when I see these sort of APIs. I saw this all over C# back in the day, and it was horrible. Now, that being said, my guess is when I rerun this, even though I haven't added a new box yet, this is going to break miserably. Okay.
So it did messed up the proportion.
Yeah, it messed up the proportion for sure. So, and it could be, I don't remember what that is. Fixed size, proportion 1. So now what I might need to do is say, I liked the fixed proportion, but let me see something here. And I don't remember what 0 and 1 meant for proportion focus. This is why I don't do UIs, man. Okay, so that's better, other than the width for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this setting row at a time, it gave me this, but I don't know if I can do. I have to read the instruction. Like if I do this, I don't think it's gonna help, right? So that set the length actually, didn't it? Okay, so
yeah.
Let's add the next thing though. We wanted the checkbox, right? So let's at least just do that. And the text box was a tview new checkbox.
Yep. And then you could do the text and then takes 2 arguments, the label and the initial state. True for checked or false. Yeah, so you would do like,
I don't know what to call it right now.
or AI toggle.
And then what do I do with an AI toggle? Dot set label.
You don't need to do that there though. You can do it in the parentheses.
What do you mean?
Like this. That and then the default state.
Oh, I can pass it in?
Yeah.
No, that's not a parameter. So I don't know what.
Maybe this is wrong.
Yeah, whatever you're looking at has changed, but which is fine, dude.
Yeah.
What I needed was this. So ideally, what I wanted to try was. I don't know what that's going to do with those numbers. So, Bill, when do I get my turn? Oh, yeah, we got to get Don on here, too. We're going to get you on here, Don. Okay, so there's the AI there. It's a 50-50 split, right? And no boxes or anything. So
we want to do something like a 90-10, like we can maybe match it.
Okay. It's getting better. We still need to fix the width here. It's almost like between these two, right? The proportion is 0. Maybe we do here 20, 80. I don't know enough, bro. This is when this stuff. Oh, look at that. Pretty good. I got that back at 20. And maybe this gets to stay at 0. Okay.
We're getting better.
That's good.
Getting better.
All right. It would be nice to put a box around that, but I can't tell if this is okay. So now it's like on-off sort of stuff here, right? Okay, look, dude, that's pretty good. We're getting there. Set a label. But how do we put a border? Okay, maybe they have the set border here. All right. Nice. Okay, so that's pretty good, right?
Yep.
Even with the little gaps that I see, all that's fine. And now we can turn. What are the? Do they have like radio buttons or just the text box?
Oh, see the X coming in?
Yeah.
And you check and uncheck. Okay.
Yeah, it's just it would be nice if turn agent. Oh, that's even better. Look, just turn agent on. Now, obviously, oh, that's pretty good, right? That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so turn agent, or we can just say agent on, gives you a little more room. Okay, but what other options do they have? I hate that it's a blue. I guess we can change the color to something. I don't know how I changed the. Oh yeah, look at this. Set style.
Foreground. Okay.
Okay, so AI toggle doesn't have a set style like the other ones do. They have a set checked string, set checked style.
There's
Set
label.
check style takes a style. Oh, that's interesting. I have no idea what that's going to do. Didn't do anything, honestly. Okay, it's fine. You know what? For what we want, it's absolutely fine, right? So when I ran it, it didn't really do anything. It stayed blue. But this is something we can deal with later, right?
Okay.
From my perspective now, we've got what we need. We can clean that up. We can turn it on or off, right?
Yep.
Okay. And by default, we have it off. So, okay. I don't know how we did that so fast. That was pretty damn good. Okay. So now we've got AI toggle, which we're going to need to add to this list so we can access it, right? So we have this, we have the AI toggle, which is a checkbox. Okay. And then we can, set that. Okay. So now we've got a toggle that we can have on or off. And so that means that this whole idea of a mode can go away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this code here. And now this gets interesting because if that agent, okay, so we're going to do the following, all right? I don't care this. We're going to try to load it. But if it fails, we're not going to return an error, okay? This is what the UI. If it fails, I'm just not going to return an error. In fact, I almost don't even care, which is bad code here. But the idea is that if we can't connect to the agent, we can't use it. That's going to be the idea, right? If this fails, it should return a nil pointer.
Okay.
Okay, so then the agent at the UI level is going to be nil. We just have to check whether it's nil or not. Even if you click on agent AI mode, if I can't connect to a llama, you can't be in that mode.
Okay.
Right?
I got it.
In fact, now what we can do is this. Look, which is even better because we get past the agent, right? So we can do maybe the following now. If agent doesn't equal nil, it would be nice to add item takes a tview primitive, right? Which is probably some interface. So watch this. Let's see. Let me try this for a second. So if agent doesn't equal nil, right? That means that we connected to a llama.
Okay.
Then let's do it this way. I'll create a toggle. I'll set it. And then I'll say AI toggle equals toggle. Okay. So this has got to be some interface, right? And so then we'll load our agent on. All right. Now I hate else clauses. I will not use them. Sorry. So I don't know what to do there just yet, but we do default. So now if it is nil, then maybe what we're going to do is not a new text box, but just a label or something.
New checkbox dot label.
Maybe. Or do they have a disable? Set disabled. See, that's what we're gonna do, bro. Oh, this is even better. Okay, this is even better.
Set disabled. Okay.
Okay. So now this is better. I can call this this. Okay. Then I can ask one question. If the agent is nil, set disabled to true. I don't need any of this. Nice, right? So if we're able to connect, then it's disabled, right? We could also just say so there's agent on, right? Now if I kill this for just a minute, and there's no way it could connect. Now this could mean that this API is not behaving the way it otherwise should be. When this can't connect, it should return. Yeah, it should return nil because it can't connect, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm expecting right now to happen. So let's just do this for a minute just so we know. All right. I'm going to return this for a second. Is there? Okay. Ooh. Why does it think it can connect to a llama? Is it still running? Oh, llama list. Dude, that's crazy talk to me. So it looks like new. It doesn't actually try to make a connection with a llama. I wonder if there is a, this I didn't know. So now agent dot see chat, but this is bad because there's no way for me to know. All I have is the only API I have here is chat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see something here. Context, which I don't have any context yet. An input, warm up, history new. Remember I said I wanted it to warm up anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, if error doesn't equal nil, I'll just set the agent back to nil. Actually, I can do it here.
Yeah.
Copilot's getting in my way. So the call to new doesn't let us know whether or not we can connect. It just sets some things up. And so now what we'll do here is, I feel like there's so much going on there now. I should move this here. So we'll just make a silly call. If that fails, then we'll just say that we're not in agent mode anymore. So now this time, agent disabled.
Got it. Okay. And then when you...
And in fact, I didn't like the colon there at all. Just agent disabled. All right. So now it's disabled, right? It's off.
Yep.
If I run our llama again, now this time when we come up, it actually warms it up, which is pretty good, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it was quick to bring up the client. Now, we have to wait for that sort of to know. And so that's why it took the client a little bit up. So what we could also do to help that a little bit is do something like pump.println warming up the agent. Warming up like the agent, right? That way, I'm going to kill this again. All right. So right now it's not running, but it came right up because it failed right away.
Okay.
Okay. But if we bring it up, now we have to wait for that warm-up code to run, right? So watch. Warming up the agent. Bah. So the user's not confused about what's happening, right? We're not going to start the client until the agent's warmed up.
Got it. Okay.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we can turn it on and off, okay? And we'll start it with the off position, I think.
But now that label of agent on, so it'll be like, okay, you're in agent mode, and then the X is gonna be...
Yeah, so maybe on isn't the best word there. It's just like on, off, right? Or because there's an X there, remember there's an X here. So when it's X, it's on.
That's what's actually going to be activated.
Yeah, because it would be nice if, like I said, if they had another control that was more of a, that's kind of like a radio button, right? Now we could change that out to be a button. And when it starts off with agent off and then you click it, it says agent on.
They have a set changed func that looks like you could do something like that.
Right, I mean, we could do it with a button. So
for the checkbox.
Yeah, so let's say I did, here's the button, right? Let's take this code for a second and do this instead. Oops. So, agent. And it starts in an off position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. I'll just do that. None of that changes. This won't be good, but that's okay. We'll just fix it back to be a button, right? We didn't wire in a function just yet. I don't think, where is it here? We got to wire in a function for it, but if I just agent off.
Yeah, I think that
right?
And then if we click the agent on.
Okay. So let's get that working then. But remember the other code I had. Hold on. So if agent is nil, at least here, then we're going to change the AI toggle dot set label to agent disabled.
Yep.
Right. Actually, that's super interesting.
And then red. Okay.
It's kind of interesting what it did there, right? And maybe even set border to color red. So first of all, it's running, so that's good. Agent off, on. We can use those same colors anyway. Oh, I wanted to kill it, so now agent disable. That's kind of nice, right?
No.
Cool. In fact, technically, yeah, agent off, agent disabled. Okay, so let's run this again. Warming up the agent, agent off. In fact, agent off should probably also be
red,
right?
And then activated style.
Just bold or something. I don't know.
So,
okay, so that's that, right? But now my question is this. Where did we wire in the
set input?
Oh, here. I did it here. And I did it here because we needed the, we made it a method so it could access all that state, right? So what we can then do here is AI toggle handler. And let's just pretend that we've got a UI AI toggle handler as well. And then we're going to have a AI toggle dot set. Or is that set selected function? Okay. Nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is for all the events that we're doing. We just need to add this method now. We don't need a common address because that doesn't matter. But it does need to know if it has an agent, right?
Yes. Naru couldn't know.
I'm going to make it a bool. So
okay,
agent's not equal to nil.
Yep.
Then it's true. We have an agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's the button handler here, right? So if we now, I'll just do this for a second. Come back up here. And it's going to take a Boolean. Okay, so now let's steal some of this code too, because I don't know what I want just yet. I know we wanted green or something, but that's fine. Let's take a look at what we want here. So first of all, I need to know if it's toggled or not, right? So first of all, if not agent, just return, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, come on, dude, you're in my way now. So just return. Now, how do we know UI.AI toggle.get what? How do I know? Oh, it's a button now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that what we need is the label, right? Get label. Okay. So we're going to get the label. In fact, we're going to put this in a switch. Get the label.
Okay.
Case, the
Agent
label
off.
is agent off, or case, the agent is on. That's what we have to do. Okay.
Got it.
So if it currently says agent off, we have to put it on.
Okay.
Agreed?
Yeah.
So in this case, we're going to say agent on. This is going to be color green. Oh, it's got to be UI dot.
Yep.
UI dot. And all this is going to be color green, right?
Yep. Color green.
Okay, good.
Okay.
If it's already on, then we're going to, shit, could have just kept behind there. It's going to be off. And this is all going to be red again, right? You know how many times a day I do that? Okay, so this alone should already just toggle back and forth, right? Delaney will hate this. I use state from the UI to do things. He like hates that. I look.
The color.
The color didn't change, but it's on off. Okay. So what we didn't change was the
set label color,
yeah.
or the label color itself. Like the submit button probably uses that.
Well, the border definitely changed, but I thought we did it with the foreground here. So let's go back and look real quick. Did I miss a green?
Green.
No, I said set for color green. If we go to on, set it back to red. So somehow I might have to do it might be better if I do there's a way to tell it to do a draw maybe. That would feel like it's working, right? AI toggle dot draw. I remember having to issue a draw at some point. Let me see. T-app draw.
Or set changed func.
C T view app draw. I bet you. I don't know. I'm going to try it. I don't know if it's going to really make a difference. But at least let me try it. So no, I broke it completely. So for some reason, when we switch back to green, this isn't working, right? Everything else is working. Oh shit, I totally broke this now. Damn it. Okay. Now the key is, there's only one way to do this. Oh, that was a bad thing I did, huh?
Yeah, like froze it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, whatever that was, don't do it. So for some reason it's not changing, but I'm going to get this to wire in, right? We can deal with that later. For some reason it's like, but you see the background is being set properly, but the foreground isn't. So, but it's not our biggest problem.
Set label color.
Let's see.
Set label color activated or
let's see.
no.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Now maybe the order matters here, so because we're resetting it somehow, right? But if it doesn't work, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
We can deal with that later.
Yeah. No. Okay. So we'll play with it later.
No, we'll play with it later. It's not. This stuff is complicated. I remember like fighting through all this, all this stuff. Could be because of set activated style.
It was a set activated somewhere. up there. Oh,
So maybe this should be set style.
well, you're doing it above already.
Yeah, why did I do this twice? Is that what I'm doing?
Set style and then set activated. Style is the same.
I wonder what happens if I do that. Oh, now we know.
Okay.
See, activated style was important, apparently. Oh, when it's activated. So maybe I need to set both, and I'm not doing that. That's what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what is probably happening. I didn't realize that we had both there. Set style and set activated style. That was a good call, Mohammed. The funny thing is this didn't change, right? And this doesn't really change. The only thing that changes here is the label, right?
Okay.
No, so yeah,
there it is.
There we go. Nice
right.
call, man. I was going crazy on that one. Okay. So, a couple things, right? What we could do now to make our life easier is add something here called AI mode, bool, right? Which starts in a false mode.
Yep.
And now when we do this, we can say UI dot agent mode equals true. And we can say false. All right. So now we've got a Boolean instead of having to go look at a label to know what mode we're in now, right?
Got it.
AI mode is on or off. Now, okay. Now we have to go back and look at the agent response, right? So if UI agent equals nil, now it's if UI AI mode is true, do that, right? If I need to find everywhere this is. Okay. Agent response. Okay, so that's the UI mode, but we were checking to see if agent was, so I want to do this for a second. So I want to see what goes red. So it's just agent response. Okay. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's all about just responding. So now we'll only respond if we're in AI mode, right? It's turned on. So either here or here. Okay, I'm going to push this code.
Okay.
Or should we test it first? All right, let me test it first.
Good engineers will test it first.
So send me a question.
Okay, let me.
Oh, that didn't scroll. You need to fix that. On startup, it should have scrolled up. So agent is off. So you're going to run your cap. Don't worry about running a llama.
Oh.
And then send a message. It shouldn't respond to you. Hey, Bill, how's your day? And I should be able to say, it's great, dude. Submit. Now, I'm going to turn the agent on. Okay, now send a message. Yeah, the button was a better idea. That's working well. All right, let's book this code.
Nice.
Turning AI mode on and off. Okay, so we now have the ability to turn that. It feels good when you just turn this on and off, doesn't it? Okay. So that means that we've sort of knocked out. It wasn't a hard lift, right? The UI was always going to be the hardest part of that. So we've got this. All right. Now we got to create some delay, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to. Now I think what I want to do. Oh well, we've isolated everything in this one function, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can use a basic wall clock. That's fine. Okay. When somebody says wall clock, you could hear people say, I'm going to use a CPU clock or a wall clock. If we say we're using a CPU clock, we're trying to be really, really accurate in how long something took.
Okay.
If we say we're going to use a wall clock, it's like the clock on the wall.
Like to the second.
No, just it's what our observable time is. Because think about it. I'm gonna start a clock, and I want to know how long it takes to do the chat call. But there's a bunch of things that happen before and after, and context switches, and all of these things that sort of get in the way. So the wall clock is going to be the perceived amount of time it took, as opposed to the actual amount of time something took. We rarely need to worry about CPU sort of clock stuff. If you were doing perf, if you were trying to get telemetry because you're doing benchmarking and you're trying to figure out how long something really, really took, you'd probably want to be in that. You got to get it down to that CPU clock. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
So we can use a wall clock here because if anything, the wall clock is best because we're trying to create a perceived sort of time in reality as opposed to at the machine level.
Got it.
Okay. So what that means is we can start with a time dot now. Okay. Why is that doing that, man? Time dot. Oh man, Copilot's getting more and more in my way every day. Okay, time dot now. So I know what time it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this call, and then or we can say start, and then I can do a time dot since start. Now that gives me a duration. I now know
so that gives
from
you
a wall clock how long that took, right?
Got it.
In a duration perspective. Now, what I also said is I want to do everything in seconds. Okay. Duration will get down to nanoseconds, but it's time, so we can do subtractions and stuff. The first thing I said was I wanted to pick a random number, right?
Yep.
So I can use ran.int n. I don't have to use the crypto packages for this. I'm not trying to play a poker game or a casino thing where I gotta really worry about the entropy here. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
And I can say 10. So what this is going to do is give us a number from 0 to 10, not including 10. That's what that sort of slash is. This means not including.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 11 then, right?
And we don't want it to start at 0, right? We wanted it to start from 3.
You're right. I did want it to start at 3. I don't know a way to do that with this API.
It doesn't let you do like a range.
No, I don't think it does. I've never seen it, but that's okay, dude. We can, if it's 0, if it's less than 3, we'll just go to 3, right? Like it's not important. That's not an important problem. So that's going to be the delay we want in seconds.
Yeah.
And then I have a duration here that's probably not in seconds. It's probably going to be in microseconds or milliseconds of time here.
Yep.
But it should have, that gives it to me in seconds.
They have
but there should be a subtraction. I thought there'd be a subtraction too. So we could do a couple things here. if I took seconds, now it's in floating point number, that's fine. I can just, again, it doesn't have to be accurate, right?
It just has to be roughly.
So I can put that in an integer format. So there'd be some truncation here or there.
Okay.
I don't really care. I think 99 out of 100 times it's going to be 0 anyway. And then we've got the delay in seconds. And so now the idea is we want to create some artificial delay. Now, I hate using a time.sleep because you can't break it. But we don't have context sort of anyway here to do that. The time.sleep is dangerous because there's no way to break it. Now, we don't have a context here on this call to say, regardless of how long you want to wait, when the context times out, we're sort of done.
Okay.
We really don't have any of that. So you can see here that we have our delay in seconds. This could be anywhere from, say, 0 to 11 or 10.
Yeah.
If it's less than 3, I think we've decided we're going to set it to 3, right? Oh, there's a new function that I just used recently. Was it yesterday here? It was a min and max function.
Yeah, it was min.
But I don't remember what package it came from, right? But let's just leave this code here. I'd have to look for it again.
See if it's in the code somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I just don't remember what package we took it from. So this is whole seconds, right? And then ideally, this would be time since in time duration. But see, this is in nanoseconds. This isn't going to work. So since dot seconds, now I'm getting it in actual seconds, which I'd be shocked if it was even 1.
Yeah.
We can like write this out somewhere, even in the term. We can write it to the screen probably just so we can see it. Yeah. All right. And then at that point, I've got the delay. I've got a current. So one could argue this, and then we should be able to say, and we're going to have to do some casting. Now, I can't really cast it this way either because this is in terms of nanoseconds, not seconds. So, oh, but I'm going to multiply it by
a second.
By time second. So is that going to really work? Let me think. Is that really going to work? Because this represents what seconds are, okay, in our basic unit of time.
And why can't we just pass in delay in seconds there? Why do we have to do?
Because time is in nanoseconds. So if you were to look at this right here.
So time.sleep is thinking that.
A nanosecond. Time.duration is in the units of nanoseconds. So if the value of a time.duration value is 1, you're talking about 1 nanosecond.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these constants. So a second is 1,000 milliseconds of 1,000 microseconds or 1,000 nanoseconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have to, so we should be okay because this number is going to represent seconds. And then when we multiply it by that, we'll get the right value. This would be no different if I said 3 seconds. Okay. That's how that multiplication works. We take the 3, multiply by time.second, and then we've got the actual number of nanoseconds that represents, because that's the basic unit. So since this represents seconds, we should be able to do the multiplication. I have to cast it because everything has to be in the right type.
I got it now.
And guess what happened here?
That's the min-max.
Yeah.
The max.
Oh, it's just a built-in function.
Yeah.
Nice. So I think, and it would be good to log some of this, right? It'd be good to log some of this. But we started a wall clock. We identified how many seconds bypassed. I know I'm doing casting here. There are functions like math.seal that would give us the sealing of this. The least integer value greater than or equal to that, right? But that still returns a float. I thought seal returns the least. Yeah, the least. So I still got to convert that to an int here. So that's like a math.sealing function. We can go into the playground and see what this does. Okay. In fact, we'll go into the playground and double check sort of everything here. So I think that's good. Then we've got that, and we've got time. So let's drop this in the playground, just so we know. You know me, I love my playground.
Yeah.
So we'll do a couple things here, right? I'll do the start equals time.now. Now, time in the playground is a sort of illusion, and we're not even going to get into this. But what they had to do to make this work is crazy. So, right, imagine that we did this, and then imagine we did a sleep for 2 seconds. So what that would then mean is that our duration value hopefully would be 2, right? If we did this right.
Duration would be 2.
Okay. Then our delay, we don't know what the delay is going to be.
No.
Because we're asking for a random number from that, right? So delay. And then we've got the final sort of delay, right? So let's just see what happens when we run that. Yeah. Okay, good. So it simulated a 2-second delay, right? Which is good. So there's our 2. Then we came up with a random number of 6. And so the final was 4. And then we would have waited 4 seconds. So this code's actually it's working, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'm still, like, what's still confusing me is why we need to put the time.duration on the delay in seconds in the actual code. Like,
this?
Where is it? Yeah, why
it
does
won't compile? Because this isn't of type duration, it's of type int. And you can't operate on data of different types.
Okay.
You always have to have like types on any side of an operator. And so when you see the number 3, when we do this, when I did this, okay, 3 isn't of a type, it's of a kind.
Oh.
It's a literal value of kind int. And values of a kind can be implicitly converted. So behind the scenes, arguably, the compiler did this for you. So you'd have like types on both sides of this operation. When a value like a numerical constant is of a kind, the compiler can do the implicit conversion. But this isn't a constant of a kind, it's a variable of a type.
Got it.
And so we're forced to do the casting ourselves. It's really a conversion, not a cast. But in a conversion meaning that we technically would get a new memory allocation for this. Now, the compiler can optimize that away, but from our programming model, we want to think in those terms.
Got it. Okay.
So that's what's happening here. If I do this, you'll see the compiler will complain. Hey, I can't have an int in a duration.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But it's all about understanding that literal values are not of a type. They're not read-only variables. They're constants of a kind. They play by a different set of rules.
Got it. Okay. It makes sense now.
So Mohammed's asking, I know this won't happen, but what if the code natural delay is greater than the random number, then the outcome diff will be negative. So Yeah, so that's really interesting, dude. That is super interesting. I don't even know what happens when you pass a
But then
negative number.
time.sleep.
So what he's saying is that what if you randomly pick a number like 1,
And the delay is 3, or the
right? And let's do the math here, right? So
duration is
we do
3.
this duration, let's say, and the duration took 20 seconds.
Yep.
Okay. And then we picked this number, which is 3.
Yep.
Now you're saying 3 minus 20, you get a.
And time.sleep says something about what it does with a negative. A negative or 0 duration causes sleep to return immediately.
Yeah. But it's a really good point. These are the little mistakes that I've been making lately, Mohammed. Like, I'm starting to like get worried, but at the same time, this is why you need multiple heads, because my head is deep into that, and Mohammed's is able to sort of look at other things. But these are the classic mistakes that I've been making lately, like not playing enough sort of chess here. So let's work that out, right? Right now, this code assumes that the duration for this call is always going to be less, right, than the delay in seconds that we choose.
Yep.
Right? Like it's always going to come back faster than 3, essentially, which is not necessarily always going to be the case. So,
but if it is going to be, if we were doing this and the delay in seconds, which is the random number we're picking, is smaller than the duration, we would want to just return immediately because it already has a large.
that's true.
It did take a while.
So that's true, right? Because at that point,
like you've waited 20.
It's already
20
3 seconds, right? We've already waited okay, so that's an excellent point, right? The fact that this will return immediately if it's negative actually works in our favor, because we know that we already waited well over.
At minimum 3 seconds is what you waited.
Yeah.
That's where my
See?
mind is at.
No, dude, I didn't even get that far, so that's good, right? We don't care about negative calculations because that means we've already waited long enough. Yeah. That's a great point. That's a good point, Mohammed. I got to give Kevin some credit here. I was about to write some if statements that we didn't need because we feel like we are already waited. So, okay. And I'm going to put that comment in because Mohammed's talked about it. Now we've talked about it. Somebody else is going to look at this code and wonder the same thing, right?
Yeah. Why we aren't handling that.
Okay, so now we've got this artificial delay, right? So let's play with this artificial delay now. I'm going to run it. I love the warming up. We needed that anyway, to be honest with you. Now, this is bothering me. Let's fix this before I do anything else. When we load this text,
it's not scrolling.
It's not scrolling, right? So I just want to fix this because it's bothering the hell out of me. So when is that? I thought we did that, but that code is here. List, set change, right? Query, do that. Scroll to end.
Text view scroll to end.
Are we missing a scroll to end? Stitch the messages, set the list. Maybe I need this. Scroll to end. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that was it. Okay. We're missing a scroll to end. Okay. So I'm going to commit this code. Added a natural delay. to the agent. Let me push that. Okay, now you don't need to get latest right now. Let's run this. I'm going to go into agent mode for Kevin. And let's see how it feels now when you ask it a question.
Okay. So, oh, I did notice something. I think it's too far down.
Yeah,
on
because
the
your
smaller-
screen. So we can fix that later.
Okay.
We can push some code for that. Hey, Bill. Uh-oh. It didn't work, did it? It didn't.
Oh,
not
but
much.
it did take a while.
Oh, not much, Kevin. Just so that felt.
That was on the higher end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, send another message in. I thought it broke. Tell me more.
That was shorter. So I think it's because the delay, it's so fast. It's not, if it gets like, let's say a 9, it's subtracting.
I know. So wonder if we just keep this at maybe 8. 8 and 2. Or 9 would be 8. Just to make it feel a little bit more. I mean, it could take me that long, but right, we're thinking about this as a computer program, but
That is true. Or
I know,
it could, yeah.
I
Because to type that out, it would take.
I know. It would, right? All right, send another question. All right, let me go in agent mode. All right, send another question, and I'll just count when I see it enter, or when I see it on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it would take you longer. To
it might.
type all
Yeah,
that.
it would take me longer to type all that, wouldn't it? So maybe we just keep it where it was, and that is what it is, right? So I'll just keep that. That is okay. So what that means now is we've done the artificial delay. Now the hard part.
The LLM to LLM.
Oh my God, dude. LLM to LLM. I need to get a drink, man, even though we're on this call here. I'm going to go and get a, I need a shot of Jameson right now, dude. Hey, Mohammed. Oh, did I not push? Oh, we did that. Mohammed, do you have, are you caught up where you've got Olama running as well? Go on this side. I want to see the chat's faster here. Plus, we got to fix that. It's too small, right?
I think maybe we do like an 80-20.
Oh, let's try it. Let's try it for you.
Instead of 90-10.
So that was
that one.
do an 80 here.
Like an 80-20? Right? If it was 90-10, I'm not sure.
I know, but that looks.
Yeah, now it like offset it the other way.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So maybe it was an 80-10.
Well, no, you can't do 80-10 because you got 100% you have to deal with. So you just created a bigger gap. You're gonna have to play on your machine and see what the number is.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. But we'll run it now to clone. Yeah, get the latest and make sure you run that Olama now. Don't forget though, you have to pull the Llama 3.2 model, which should be fast for where you are. So don't forget to do that as well after you get it up and running. Okay, I gotta get a drink, man. I'm gonna get some Gatorade. It'll be fast. We've got to do LLM to LLM conversations now, where we've got two agents talking to each other. I mean, it would work now, actually, Kevin, if you run. Oh, but you can't.
It would.
If you clicked your red button, even though Kevin's button looks like.
I got it. It was 15. The 10, we just have to put it to 15.
All right, let me see what it looks like here. No.
Looks perfect. Now they're both perfectly lined up.
Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, UI.
UI 117. Yeah.
So what, 85, 15?
No, just 15.
15 here.
Yep, that was it.
All right, let me see. Oops.
Oh. So it's not like...
See, I think if you're going to do that, you're going
Like
to do 85, 15.
And now
That's
yours is
fine.
even.
85,
Okay.
15. Actually, that's the better one.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me push UI fix git push. Okay, so now we've got that. That's much better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Much better there. Okay, so Mohammed's gonna run some Olama. This would technically work already, right? Talk to everybody, Kevin, while I get a drink.
It would. I have to make sure Olama runs on my machine. Because I haven't ran it in agent mode yet.
You don't have Olama?
I do have it.
So open up a window, run it.
Let's see.
Run it. Now, I'm trying to think of all the bad things that can happen at this point.
See, my button is not working.
Because you're not running Olama.
Oh, because you're running a third. Yeah.
Okay. Gotta open up another window for Olama.
Command shift D. Okay. What was that command make? Hold on.
I think I need some Cuban coffee is what I think I need. I should get Ali and make some Cuban coffee. Oh man, my brain's shutting down. Okay.
You did make Olama. Okay.
Just do it.
I have to do a make install too, just in case.
Okay, so I think this will work. I think the only thing that we're going to end up having to do, well, one, I need to create a profile for you, right?
Yeah.
And then two,
if not, it'll be Bill talking to Bill.
Yeah. I'm going back to the prompts for a second. Let me see something here. So here's the problem, right? This is a Bill prompt, and I've put it there under Olama LLM. So that tells me that we've got to put the prompt. Damn it. We got to put the prompt. Oh, man. We got to make the prompt data. But I was sort of cheating. But that's okay. I was cheating by embedding it, right? But in order for this to work properly, now that I think about this, we're going to need to add our profile here under client, right? I need to get this to work where my profile is sort of here. So like new folder. No, maybe we can put it in the, this is the client. What if I put it in data? Yeah, let me see something. What if I put it in data JSON? I don't know if we should have it in a separate file or not. I could put it in here, right?
It would just make it messy.
But yeah, it would make it messy. We can't put it in here. We're gonna have to add a separate under client. I'm gonna add a new folder called profile. All right, Mohammed's got it running. So let's do something real quick while I have Mohammed. It's running. Okay, I'm going to ask Mohammed a question and we'll see. Well, he's going to be me. This is the problem, okay? How are you doing, Bill? Right? He's going to think that it's me because he's using the same profile. See? So
yeah,
okay.
It's Bill and Bill.
Yeah. It's Bill talking to Bill. Okay. Actually, let's just do something crazy. All right. I'm gonna ask him another question. Bill, where are you right now? I don't even know what's gonna happen. Does it even come back and say anything? You see, this is where we got to.
It did.
I'm at my office.
It's talking to itself.
Oh my God, dude. It's just talking to each other now without doing much.
No, that's why I think.
This is insane, dude. Oh
And
my
it's
God.
and it's asking
It
questions
even
and
asked a question.
it's mixing it in.
Oh my God, dude. This is insane, man.
Just like that.
Oh,
And it'll keep going too. It's asking
yeah,
questions
no.
and then
I'm gonna turn this. I gotta turn this thing off. Okay, so so that's just working with the prompt that we have. That's insane. Like I don't even have to tweak this prompt, right? It was just like leveraging the history. All right, Mohammed. All right, I turned off the agent. That's wild, dude.
so this is great. They're inviting each other to
I know Bill's inviting himself to a company. So I wonder if we're concurrency safe. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna set this up so we can each have our own personal profile. Because right now everybody's me.
Mhm.
Then I'd be curious what happens when you and Mohammed have it on and you're talking to me and I have it on. Because now I'm having multiple conversations
Oh,
at
like
the
to
same
see if
time.
it will
And
mix
not
them
blow
up.
up because I
Yeah.
got a data race somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, that was crazy, dude. That's wild, man. Look, dude.
And it was keeping the
This is
conversation
what,
going.
dude. We built this in a couple of months, man. I mean, I don't know how many hours. We have to add up all the hours of the shows, right?
This is episode what, 27?
27. So roughly.
And we've gone over majority of the time.
Yeah. So maybe average it out like 3 hours. So it's like what 70 hours,
Something like that.
which is roughly 2 weeks. So in basically 2 weeks, we built this out. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Okay, so we got to fix the profile issue now. So, dude, I'm just like my brain is just like, wow, man, that's pretty cool. Okay, so, profile problems. So I'm gonna add. Let me see here. Okay, it gets automatically. I was looking at this. I'm gonna just copy this right now into paste. And I'm going to rename this to Bill. Okay. So I'm going to have a profile. In fact, maybe I keep this anyway in the so the idea is we call it Bill. And just for people, right? So people have it or it doesn't work. And all that would mean then is I have to do /db here /ID. Okay. So I'm going to allow the profile to be uploaded. I'm going to call it Bill. When we do yours, I'll save it there as Kevin.
Okay.
And then when Mohammed does his or something, we can just add it to the project. And then we'll find a way to specify, well, technically, if I come here,
you can tie it to the...
I could tie it to this account, right? Why not? Just tie it to that account at the end of the day. That way, in our project, we can save our profiles here and have them as part of our project. Anybody else can just add a file, right, with their name there.
It would almost be cool to add like a field there so people can change their profile under my account.
Oh, so maybe we do it that way instead, right? I can call it Bill. Yeah, and we'll add a
like profile
here, and that can be edit copy relative path. Could be that. Actually, I like that idea better. So we can do that. We gotta now change some config side, but let's say that we're gonna do that. Yeah, because now it could be anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can just keep mine sort of there, and then that can be sort of passed into, because we already assume this stuff is running locally anyway, right? So that's good. Okay, so let's fix this problem first then, because we just added something to data.json, right? Which tells me data.json was my account. So now we're going to have a profile, string profile, right? And we can read that from disk, and the profile can be the same. We can just hard code this for now, right? If it's not there, then like we can't use it. But
It would be cool to have a default,
I know. So
like based on the history.
So we could just use mine as the default, right? Who cares? So use mine as the default.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Like
just to get going,
mm-hmm.
and then
yes.
and then it can be replaced. So that would solve that problem now, right? You create a new profile, you have the bill one there, and then when you read it, it should marshal it, open my account, decode. Yeah, so that solves the profile problem. I love this suggestion. I think that was a great idea. Now, what that means here is that we don't have prompts here anymore. And this sort of goes away. That means here, what we should do, I think, is just ask for the profile here as a string.
Okay.
Right? Just give me the profile. Or in this case, we called it the prompt. And then what we can do is just say prompt string,
mm-hmm.
prompt. And then you just get that from the receiver. And you're done. So we just have to pass in the prompt now, right? Regardless of where you get it.
Got it. Okay.
So that's good. DB file was that, yeah. So now this is failing because on startup we need to get our prompt, right? If one exists, and we have it here in the DB. So DB dot my account dot. Ooh.
It's not.
Nope, it is not. Okay, so at the DB level, we didn't expose it, right?
No.
Because at the client level, so we did the lower level side of it. But here,
yeah.
I called it profile, didn't I?
I thought you had changed it to prompt, but oh no, I think that was on the receiver end.
Yeah, I called it profile. That's your profile. Which at the end of the day is a prompt to that. So should we call it profile or should we call it? I like the idea of a profile, but it has to have some specific things in it for it to work, right? The chat history and the question. I don't care if the thing blows up on you because you did this wrong, per se, right? I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's come back here. So I just need to know where this is being used here. My account. It must be on the DB file side. Let's see. Here. So profile is df dot my account profile. Okay, so that should give us the profile now. And that's when we get the new DB. And I don't know if we do this anywhere else. No, these are the messages. Yeah, we just read that once. So, all right, so we're good. Okay, man, so much stuff here. So now what that means is that we have a profile. Okay. Profile is the location of the profile. It's not the actual profile, is it? So now I'm wondering if this shouldn't be path to be more specific, right?
Down, yeah.
And this should be the profile path. There it is. And then this can be profile, path, profile, path. I think that's going to be cleaner because that's what it is, right?
Yep.
Because now when we're here, it's a profile path. Okay. So now I've got the path to the profile. We assume it's there and that we can read it. We could just put that code in here if we really wanted to. Maybe we do it this way instead. So on Olama new, we get the profile path here. Okay. And then we can do an os.open, and we take that profile path, and then we get an F and or an error. And maybe we really do this first, because if that fails.
Yeah, like there's no profile.
Right. All right. Now, the only other problem with that is that if we're not, this assumes that you always have a profile, but we've given everybody a default profile, right?
Yeah.
So everybody should be able to run. And then we just have to sort of read it in. So we can just do a prompt. So we can use the io dot, there's just a read all that we can use, which takes an F and gets us the prompt and or an error for whatever reason. And then the prompt needs to be a string, so we can just do this and we're fine. So this code assumes now you always have a prompt, but we'll give everybody the default prompt. Now, anybody that's been watching the show won't have this until they, well, no, it's going to be there. I'm pushing it up. So
okay.
As long as you pull latest, that's always going to be there.
That's tracked.
Right, yeah. You always get Bill as a sort of starting point for your profile. Okay, so let's try now. I should be able to turn this on, and it should still work. So let's not do agent to agent just yet, but let me just at least do this. Warming up the agent. I'm going to go to Kevin. I'm going to turn the agent on. Then you can send me a message. Oh, we can't even see the message when it's that small.
Oh, yeah.
Give yourself a bigger window, bro.
All right.
Just
short answer. Okay.
ask me something about where I work. Yeah. Can you tell me about where you work? I mean, it wouldn't have come up. Everything would have blown up. Okay. So that worked, right? Okay. So I'm going to I'm gonna add that git commit -am moved profile to zarf git push. Okay, so now everybody can at least be me by default. So now, Kevin, we need to create a profile about you. So let's do the following. I'm going to open up another window here. I'll do another window right here. What time is it? I got a few more minutes. Okay. And I'm going to run the Docker compose so we can go back into our, I'm going to use the web UI that I have there.
Okay.
Right. Oh, damn it. It's when I'm running the other thing, this wants to use 3000. Let's see if we can just fix that quickly. Oh, it wants to run 8080. But 3000's already, 8080 on the inside. Why can't I just use 8080 on the outside? Oh, okay. It's just using 8080 on the outside. So I'll push that too. So now I should be able to go to localhost 8080 and we're here. And we're using Llama 2. Now, remember when I asked it to create a profile about Bill Kennedy? So maybe I can say, create a profile about a computer science student who goes to Florida International University, right? Did we ask it did we tell it anything else the other time?
No. But it was able, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's similar to what it gave us. It even created a Twitter and everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'd have to clean that up a little bit, right?
So what I would do is almost pass it yours as like and tell it to use it as a template.
Let me look at ours, like mine again, just for the hell of it. Hold on. Profile Bill. It did an overview, personal traits, strengths, weaknesses. So let me do this again. And then we can say provide an overview, personal traits, strengths, weaknesses, and goals. About a 4th year computer science student. Add his you like cars. How can I say?
Yeah. Add he's a car enthusiast.
About he is a car. How do you spell enthusiast? I don't know, bro. This is very enthusiast. I don't know.
With a U. Okay, apparently that's a word. No.
And
enthusiast, like with a U.
Spell it.
ENTHU.
Oh, I hate that I don't know how to spell, bro. Oh, there it is.
Enthusiast. Yeah.
All right.
That'll work.
All right. Everybody's laughing at me now. Okay, car enthusiast. Let's see if this one works better. Oh yeah, this is much better.
Yeah.
So now we've got your Xander. But we'll change that, right?
Xander's a cool name, though.
Okay, so I'm going to take this, copy it. I'm going to add a new file called kevin.txt. And I'm going to add this above the here. I'm going to do the same thing I did here. This is context, right?
Yep.
So you are Kevin. We'll come up with a what's your last name, Kevin?
ENRI2U, easy.
All right. From Ardan Labs in Miami, Florida. Who goes to school at FIU, Florida International University. Now everybody can stalk you. Use the following contexts about who you are, and the chat is answered below. Okay, so there's that. And then anywhere I see Alexander, we're going to use Kevin, right? And now you've got personal traits. Did I put? Yeah. So it was nice that it labeled these the way it did, right? I'm going to fix that. So 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4 weaknesses. Okay, 2, 3. Two, 3, 4. Details. Okay, so this isn't bad, right? And maybe just because we know it worked really, really well the first time, I'll just do this. I don't know if it helps or hurts. This is where you just got to play, but
Yep.
we know it worked pretty well for us. So we'll just keep this sort of format. Okay. So I like this, right? I don't think this mattered at all for us, but I'm going to leave it like this. So look, so we now have, I like to just sometimes be able to see it all. Okay. Okay, cool. So I've got a, I'll just leave that. All right, so we've got a profile for you now, right?
Yep.
Okay, this is cool. I'm going to push this code now. Kevin profile. And you're going to change your
Yep.
thing.
Data JSON. I have to add that profile. What was it? Profile underscore path?
Yep. Path. And then you can right click on your file. That should have come down. Relative path. And plugged it in there. And fix the comma and the name above.
Name. Oh.
That needs the comma, not the one
Yeah.
right there. Okay, so save that. Run your client. I'm going to go back to Kevin.
The only thing is my Olama did not work.
Your Olama's not working?
No.
Oh, then you can't.
Yeah.
Then you can't be Kevin. Why is Olama not working? What is it saying?
It says make, what is it? Olama up?
Olama up.
Dash up.
Oh, because that port is already in use. Type PS. That port is already in use. So are you running anything? Do Docker PS.
No.
Type Docker PS. Yeah, well, you don't need Docker running. So do a Docker stop, copy that container ID. Then a Docker RM, ID minus V, space minus V, enter. Now see if Olama will come up. The port's being used for something is the problem. So that port's already in use. You have something running that's using the port. But
yeah,
we might be able to,
I don't know what could be running.
Well, obviously, you have something. There's a command I can use to see where the port is running. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. We can change the port too, but I don't want to do that. But
1-1.
we're at 1 o'clock anyway, so we're gonna either you reboot your machine at some point, or you've got something running on that port. I can show you commands as we're finished here
Okay.
on how to find that. So we did our 2 hours. We're here. Let me just go back to our cap though. So we actually finished that work. That's pretty good. And now Mohammed had his running. So now Mohammed can create a profile for himself as well. And dude, focus on here, and then we'll look at that. So we finished that. So next week I'm in San Francisco for Google I/O, and I got some client work out there. So we won't have any shows next week. But when we get back, you're gonna schedule Mohammed to come on for that Tuesday. We'll come back, and we're gonna start this. So we're gonna have the cap come up, and if it has information about another cap, it will attempt to create a peer-to-peer connection with it.
Okay.
Which it will for you. And then the idea should be that it uses the peer-to-peer connection versus using NATs.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Once we've got that working, then I can get somebody from Tailscale to come in and show us how we can leverage their tech to do a peer-to-peer, let's say with Mohammed in the Netherlands, right?
That would be cool.
Yeah. And if it's that simple enough to do, we can then rip all the NATs stuff out. Right now, people will have to run a Tailscale client, but I bet you we can do that in Docker or something.
That would be cool to see another.
It becomes we become more decentralized again.
Yep.
And distributed. So again, we need Tailscale's one little service there to give us some metadata, but after that, we're truly peer-to-peer. We're not spoken wheel. So that's pretty good. Okay. All right, so let me at least save this. I'm going to shut everything down here. So you're going down, you're going down, you're going down. Normally, like, we should be clean when everything is down, but you did a PS and everything was clean.
Yeah, it was clean.
The only other thing maybe is open up your activity monitor and see if Olama is showing up there. Okay, just updating the notes. Okay, sweet. So, man, we had a good day today, man. We got some stuff working, and we saw 2 agents talking to each other.
That was pretty cool. that was interesting.
Yeah, I want to see how it works with your new profile, and then Mohammed's going to get a profile. You all know how to do that now using that open web AI, so that's pretty cool. But all right, so I won't see anybody next week, but the week after we'll have 2 more shows, and we'll start some lower level socket protocol communication stuff, so we can get off of NATs, hopefully, or at least when you're on the same where you can establish a peer-to-peer if we don't use Tailscale.
Yep.
Get off NATs and continue to sort of crank this out. So, all right, appreciate everybody hanging out with us. See you again in 2 weeks.